Now let's take a look at how we can take our caged chords and tie them together with our major pentatonic scales like we did in the last lesson. Now we're going to play a chord progression that's something similar to what we did before, which is a D chord, a G chord, and an A chord. So if we looked at those three chords, D, G, and A, we'd find out those are in the key of D major. So one way to approach this would be to say, all right, we're in the key of D major. Let's just play a scale that fits over that whole key. So play one scale and just stay in that scale. We're going to do it a little bit different here. We're going to actually change our scale depending upon what chord. So we're going to follow the chords. Sometimes this gives you a little bit more melodic sound. It really dials in the sound of that chord, and it makes your solos sound a little bit more interesting sometimes if you actually follow the chords. So when we play our D chord, which is going to be this one, it's off of this form, we're going to play our D major pentatonic scale. And once again, we have to know the shape that goes with that, which is this particular scale shape. When I play the G chord, it's going to be this one, our C form of our G chord. Then we have to play the G major pentatonic scale right there in that position. So the point is I want to stay in that area for both my chords and my changing of my scales. For my A, I'll do this A. And once again, I may do partial ones of these. I don't have to do that full chord. And for that, I'll play my A major pentatonic scale right here, that pattern. So the interesting thing, if I put all those scales together, I would basically end up with the D major scale. So that's sort of an interesting side note, because remember, pentatonic scales have 5 notes in them. And my major scale, or the Ionian mode, it's got 7 notes in it. So we're stripping a couple notes out here to get to the D major pentatonic, and then the G major pentatonic, and finally the A major pentatonic. So I'm going to play those all in this position right here, but I may go down and change my chords, and then would obviously change the corresponding scales and play this D chord, this G chord, and this A chord. I could go up and play this D chord, and this G chord, and this A chord, and then I would play the scale that goes with that chord. So D chord up here, play the D major pentatonic. A chord up here, the A major pentatonic, right? So just play a little bit, and I'll kind of talk you through what I'm doing so you get a feel for how this works, right? So we're just going to start with the D. Then I'm going to go to my G chord. Now I'm playing my G major pentatonic scale. My A chord, A major pentatonic, D, D, G, A, D. Now here I'm going to play a lick, and I'm going to go down to this D chord. So this is my A form of my D chord. But now my little lick solo thing that I play has got to be from the D major pentatonic scale that goes with this form, right? The G is here. A. D. Now I'm going to slide up to this D chord. And then I'm going to go this G chord, or my G chord that I found here, we keep that one. And then I got to play the scale with that. A, D, D, G. Then I go to this A, D. Right? So you can see what I'm doing is I'm moving up and down through the matrix, through the grid of my chords that follow the CAGED system, whether it's the D series of chords, the G series of chords, or the A, and then I'm playing the corresponding major pentatonic that goes with that. So I'm changing, once again, from when I'm playing a D chord, then I play a D major pentatonic lick. When I play a G chord, I play a G major pentatonic lick. When I play an A, I play an A major pentatonic lick. So it's really important to know those patterns all over the neck. So here's the key with it, though. The secret is I'm not thinking, oh my gosh, I don't know all these chords and all these patterns. I'm once again tying my knowledge of what scale shape goes with what chord by saying, when I play this chord, I always will play this scale. That is its matching major pentatonic scale, right? So if that chord is D, this is D major pentatonic. If I play it up here, that same shape, that same form of chord, that's F, so this would be my F major pentatonic. So that chord will always go with that scale. If I want to play in this style, where I'm basically changing my scale or my licks with the chords that are going underneath. This works great too if you're actually playing over a band track. So I'm sort of soloing it here, but if I was playing over a band track that consisted of a D, G, and A, I could do this same thing in my solos. And that would allow me to play a lick from D major pentatonic and then sort of morph into my G major pentatonic. That's where you start to get some really interesting sounds. And that is the power of the CAGED system. We've only touched, the very tip of the iceberg when it comes to the CAGED system, but I think you can see how it really helps you organize all the material, all the melodic and harmonic content on your neck, and it really helps you step through not only chords, but scales and solos as well. So go to the charts, check out all of the other options that we're going to give you to do with the CAGED system. I think you'll find it really useful for your playing.